Thank you very much. My name is Professor Daniel Sapong. I'm the Dean of the School of Agriculture of the University of Ghana. The food systems everywhere have similar challenges, and perhaps we in Africa, we in Ghana, have peculiar challenges in the sense that we, at the end of every period, would like to know how much we have produced to be able to feed everyone. That alone should tell you that we have challenges that we need to overcome every period. But if you look at the resources that are available to us, if you look at the myriad of stakeholders that are in this food system, we should be able to say that each year we should or we must have overcome the challenges. We produce enough, but our challenge basically is that by the end of that production season, we would have lost about a third to a half of the food that we produce. So why this? It means that the things that are in the system that should help us conserve what we have produced are not there. We have challenges with our infrastructure. So at the farm level, we don't have infrastructure that helps us store. At the farm level, we don't have the infrastructure that allows us to move the food to even localities that are outside where it is produced for storage, which is most often also not in existence. 3, the road networks are bad. 4, we've not developed that distributional system that allows us to move what we have produced to those places where they are most needed. And then 5, the linkage between what we produce and our processing, so our industry, is also very short and limited. So we have a situation where we produce organically what we want to produce and eat, but by the time it gets to the table, we would have lost about half of what we have produced. So we have that kind of a vicious cycle. So what that implies is that all of us, all the stakeholders, from input use dealers, the production, so our farmers, and then all the activities that we need to overcome through our post-harvest activities. We need to be able to coordinate this in such a way that at the end, we are able to fulfill what we call moving from seed to the salad, as they say. Now, coming back to each of these steps that I've mentioned, how do we overcome our production challenges? Now, production will start from the soil, and most of our soils are not fertile. We have the soils, but they are not fertile. So, how do we ensure that we are able to fertilize our soils? So, several solutions. Subsidized fertilizers, inorganic fertilizer, let the farmers use, or let the farmers use those things that are in their communities that could enhance long-term fertility of the soils. Now, each year, the importation of inorganic fertilizer increases each year. So each year, the farmer would have to use inorganic fertilizer to maintain the soil fertility, to be able to increase the productivity or the output of that farmer. Now, each year, the price of these fertilizers goes up if there's no government subsidy. We are perhaps fortunate in Ghana. The government of Ghana is subsidizing to some extent inorganic fertilizer, but it is still not available to all the farmers. So farmers need to be able to understand that to improve the soil fertility on their farms, they need to be able to take advantage of the local organic materials that are within their vicinity. And that is one of the most important things that this study that is being undertaken by the University of Ghana and then Swiss partners, what we call the ORM for soil, is trying to teach our farmers. So we've done a lot of this work in the Kade in the eastern region and then in Sege in the Greater Accra region. The idea is to be able to identify the local organic materials, call them waste, that can be plowed back into the soil to be able to make the soil more fertile and more sustainable than each year trying to buy inorganic material that must be replaced by each farming season. So I think the results that are coming out are very encouraging. We've been able to identify those combinations of the organic materials that makes the farmer relatively more profitable. Okay. The idea is that in the long term, we should be able to improve the soil fertility in these communities. The other one is how do we create markets? So once we've improved the soil fertility, what we expect is the farmer's output is going to increase. We expect the farmer to enhance his or her productivity. So the next thing is how do we enhance the marketing of their produce? This is where now we need to be able to ensure that we have either on-farm structures and those techniques that allow the farmer to store the produce and then to release these with the dictates of the market. So when the market requires, the farmer releases the produce. So that also goes with the availability of credit. It means that the farmer must be resourced to be able to put into place the infrastructure that is required for this. So on-farm storage structures are critical, and then the road network, the transportation network are all critical. Once these are available, it makes the farmer access markets for her produce. The other one is the linkage with industry. Now, with increased production as a result of we being able to enhance soil fertility, it presupposes that we don't produce only for home consumption. We produce for export and we also produce for domestic processing. This is where we need to bring together all the various stakeholders. So scientists, because it is not that simple converting what we have produced into finished products. This is where the various technologies that have been developed and then collaboration with industry should be able to help us move the produce from the farm through industry and then either for manufactured product consumption or for exports. I think that there's been a lot of talk about food systems, and I think that the most important thing is for us to be able to encourage all the actors along the chain to be able to understand their responsibilities. I don't think the onus is only on the farmer. The farmer, given the resources and the limited capabilities that are available to them, are using that to be able to improve the food system. I think that what we need is to encourage them to be able to move the surplus out of the farm. So we'll be talking about cooperative system. Ghana had the cooperative system, but along the line it collapsed. But I think it is being looked at again, and we need to be able to correct all the ills that led to the demise of the cooperative system that we had. So once we have that, once we have a system that takes the burden of marketing away from the farmer, it allows the farmer to plan even in that limited capabilities that they have, to be able to plan for the next season. Once we're able to, with climate changing, once we're able to make information available to the farmer about when to plant, what to plant, it also helps with the farmer's ability to be able to increase production. So once we have a base, and then once we have the other chain working, then I think we are in a much better position to, one, enhance the food system, and two, to ensure that everybody is food secured. And now it's also not only about food security, it's also about nutritional security. I think that we need to be able to expand the base of the food crops that we produce. If you look at our plans over the years, our emphasis has been more on the roots and the tubers and the cereals and the legumes, without much emphasis on fruits and on animal source foods and then on green leafy vegetables and so on. Now that we're talking about nutritional security, I think we need to be able to diversify through policy incentives so that we can produce the fruits, the vitamin A source products, like the green leafy vegetables, produce them all year round so that these are available, so that the food we eat are not only to meet energy requirements, but also to meet the nutrient requirements that are required for our survival.